Welcome back to the channel, and in this video I'm going to be telling you the settings that you need to change that have been updated for Season 2 to give you the best movement and to make sure your aim is on point. Before we jump into it though, I just want to say how sick is this artwork, proper vibe in this one. But yeah, anyway, let's get into the settings. So first off, we're going to jump into the controller settings, and like I say, I'm not going to go through every single setting because a lot of them haven't changed. Obviously you want all the vibration effects off, but if we go down to the dead zone inputs, then you're going to want to change your left and your right stick all the way down to 0. So you might find that this gives you a little bit of stick drift, and that's actually what we want. So with this stick drift, it will actually kick in the rotational aim assist that we get by playing on controller. So it's going to make your aim just that little bit more sticky. You might find if you're stood still that your character model is kind of looking down or left or right, but that's kind of what we want. If you've got a super old controller and it becomes unmanageable, then you might want to pop this up a little bit, but if your controller can handle it, stick it on 0 for left and right, and that will kick in that rotational aim assist super early. Next, we're going to head down to the aim assist types. There's been a bit of back and forth between Black Ops and default on this, and this was kind of the same back in Modern Warfare 2 as well. For a while it was Black Ops, but they have actually nerfed that again, so this is less stickier aim, so you want to pull this back to default, and yeah, just make sure it's set on that. You might have had that set from previous seasons, but that's just one to double check. And then if we move over to the gameplay settings, you're going to obviously want to have your automatic tac sprint on, your slide maintain sprint off, because if this is turned on, then you'll find that sometimes you'll accidentally dive when you didn't want to, and it's going to get you in a world of pain, so make sure you've got this turned off. Also move turned off, tactical sprint behaviour, single tap run. Then a few again which have been kind of bouncing around throughout the seasons, but just make sure you've got ground mantle, automatic airborne mantle, and the ground mantle hang all turned off. You might find sometimes you get a little bit stuck in windows, so you just got to make sure you keep double tapping jump to jump through. It's not going to kind of throw you through them, but it does mean you're not going to mantle on annoying things in the middle of a gunfight which to be honest is a lot worse. Then next up, this is where one of the big changes have come in. So previously we would have been either tap to slide or slide only, so dive would have been turned off, but that would have resulted in a slight delay in and around sliding, whether that's dead slide getting into it or just delays coming in and out of it. But now they've added a new setting called hybrid, and you want to set it to this so it allows you to tap only to slide and then tap while holding sprint to dive. It is going to take a little bit of getting used to, but what I will say, I've put a little clip up on screen just to show that diving is super useful to get out of the way of people, change your angle, and just make the most of the movement really. And yeah, so this is, you want to make sure you've got hybrid on this so you can slide and tap. You might find that you're accidentally diving, but you will get used to it, so make sure you've got hybrid set on. Then we move over to the graphics setting, and there are no major changes here, but what I will say is I was getting a lot of comments on my previous video about their game looking quite grainy. So what you can do is, particularly obviously if you're playing on console, you want to make sure you've got the Fidelity FX cast turned off. I have it turned on because I think it looks fine, but if it's looking super grainy, it's because this is sharpening the overall look and feel of the game, so it can make it look a little bit crunchy or almost like pixelated. So if you're finding your game is a bit too grainy, turn that bad boy off. And then for the final change, and this isn't a new setting, but I just want to make sure that you've got this set because there have been changes in the way that the crosshairs work. So if we move over to interface and then to crosshairs, and in previous seasons there was a bit of like crosshair movement, sort of natural sway, where the developers had tried to make the game a bit more immersive and real, but essentially they've removed that now. So anyway, you want to make sure you've got your crosshairs turned off. You can have them at static if you find it particularly useful having your crosshairs on, but I think cleaner screens always helps for better aim. But if you show more, you want to make sure that you've got the center dot on, so this will just give you a single dot in the center of your screen, which is where your weapon's pointing. This helps massively for centering, so you can always make sure you're right on the window or the doorway, just to make sure that you're always winning those gunfights. And you can choose the scale of it. I've always got mine set to largest, so there's no chance of missing it whether you're in kind of slightly brighter environments. So you want to make sure you've got this on and set to largest, and just make sure you're following that dot around the screen up to the windows, snapping onto your enemies, and that'll really help you out in gunfights. So yeah, there we have it, a few new settings for Season 2. Let me know down in the comments below what you're thinking about ranked resurgence, and if you are a Dualsense Edge player, then no changes there. You're still looking at precision on a -2, twinned with the dynamic curve response in game here, so just keep that the same. That's the same as season 1. If you want to see that full video, then I'll leave a card up here, and I'll leave the link in the description to my whole controller settings for the in-game and Dualsense Edge controller settings on the PS5 as well. So yeah, make sure you check those out. Hopefully you found this useful. If you did, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.